1.5 kilometres to go as we look here at the leader, and we just hear that his teammate and team captain Ivan Basso is out of the Vuelta. We had heard he'd been dropped in these terrible conditions and he's climbed off. He was sitting in the top 20 overall and was looking for 2 minutes or so off the race lead, but Basso has gone.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a surprise because he's been going well, probably surprising himself how well he went in the first couple of weeks of the Vuelta, but maybe he's getting on in age a little bit now and doesn't like these conditions.
Well, he was just over 7 minutes behind, just over 2 minutes behind rather, in 7th place, Basso. But we still have Nicholas Roach here, we have Chris Horner, we think Valverde and certainly Nibali in that group. And Ratto here will be unaware that his team leader's abandoned. I'm not sure he'll even care right now. He just wants to get to the finish. He's got the one last climb to come, and it would be a first ever professional victory for him, and he'll never forget it in these conditions, because the conditions are absolutely freezing cold. They say at the finishing line the temperature has plummeted down to 5.5 degrees Celsius. Now just trying to see if one of those riders is Valverde back there, because that is Movistar working to come back up to the leaders, and I'm wondering if they've got Alejandro Valverde in that group.
I think he is. He's been struggling for a while, and
there he is.
That's confirmation that he is struggling today, and he's not. Looks like he's not supporting the cold weather, because we know he's in good form.
Well, Chris Horner said he hoped to move up the overall today. Well, he's ahead of Valverde at the moment. On the road, Valverde's ahead of him in the overall, but they are locked together equal on time at 46 seconds, so Horner could be going third tonight. Roach is still up there, so he will be holding second, and Nibali still there as well. This is for the peloton, it is still the climb of the Alta de Camea. Now remember, the leader's well over the top, and providing he doesn't crack, he's going to win the stage, Ratto.
This is going to be the interesting thing now for the peloton. They've all got to make sure they get down this descent safely, and it's a very, very tricky descent.
It's been the toughest day so far, and this is the teammates now trying to coax on. This is Intausti here, just trying to coax Valverde to stay in contact. Valverde's lost 40 seconds now to the group containing Roach, Nibali and Horner. And that'll be your top three tonight if it continues like that.
See how carefully these riders are taking this descent, and won't be surprised to see this group of Nibali split on this descent.
This is the man who broke away very early on today at the first kilometre of the race. At the time he had 4 riders with him. Since then, Luis Leon Sanchez has crashed and retired. This is a good sign, isn't it? The weather is clearing up on the finishing climb. Philippe Gilbert, the world champion, has taken a lead in the King of the Mountains. We've never seen him since we come on air, but we believe he's 1 or 2 minutes behind Ratto. And then the others have dropped back through the peloton, Graham Brown and Steve Chanel. We are occasionally seeing visions of the finish line, which is now bathed in white, fluffy cloud, but no sun, but at least the rain seems to have eased off. This is the little false flat here for the peloton. We're going back nearly 9 minutes. They are beginning to improve on the lone leader. We've got no indication if anybody indeed is between the lone leader and the main field.
Well, I think Ratto's on his way to winning this stage unless he blows up very badly. It'll be a fantastic stage win for him.
Bearing in mind, Graham, he's led from the 0 kilometre when the flag came in. If he does stay away, he'll lead the race from start to finish today.
Yes, it's an epic stage in more ways than one today.
At last we've got an indication there that Philippe Gilbert is still second man on the road, and he is 5 minutes 50 behind now. Well, he was the first man to the top of the biggest mountain on this course at 2,410 metres. That's the Envalira. Gilbert went over the top. Ratto went over in third place. Luis Leon Sanchez went over in second. Sanchez later crashed as they were all split up. And then a little while after that, he abandoned the race. And the reports came it was with hypothermia, not with injuries received in the fall.
Well, that's the problem with these riders when you've been racing, you know, we're towards the end of the season now. They've virtually got no fat on them at all, and you do feel the cold very quickly.
There's the statistics on the last climb of the day, 7.2 kilometres, average of 8%, a maximum gradient of 15% on its slopes. That's where we are right now. There's no forgiving of this climb now until we hit the finishing line right on the summit. Looking down at what is left of the peloton, and we're waiting to see if Alejandro Valverde can rejoin the group. There is a lone Movistar rider crossing in the gap, but here he is here. Yep. And he's sitting on the back wheel of his teammate, Herrada. Herrada is number 5. Valverde is the other rider. He has closed that group down from around 40 seconds. He's fighting back, but Graham, he's going to get on just as they start the climb to the finish. Yeah, well, I'm not so sure whether he will get on now. I think if he makes too much of an effort on the lower slopes of this climb and tries to rush getting back on too soon, he may pay for it later. So I think he just needs his teammate Herrada now to keep him, pace him as much as he can. Relying heavily now on Jesus Herrada, who was in a forward group by a minute at one stage, and I would think the team have called him back because Valverde was in trouble, and he's gone right through the group, and he's now putting him back up there. There's what's left of the peloton today, which was down to 174 riders on the start line. We know of at least 4 riders have abandoned today, so let's settle on 170 riders left in the race. And another big race tomorrow in the Pyrenees as we go into France, and the longest stage of the race as well. So this is a tough weekend for the riders. This is an epic day of racing today, and there's been no signs of weakness at all from the race leader Nibali, or from Nicholas Roach, or from Chris Horner. Is that Nicholas Roach just struggling a little bit there, just behind the Sky Rider? He's struggling to stay with the pace here. White jersey near the tail. It looks as though he might be losing a little bit of ground there. Fantastic piece of riding by Herrada here. He's making sure that Valverde is always there, keeps looking round, makes sure he's not giving him too much time. In fact, Valverde, I think, may have said something, because our cameras cut away, but I think Valverde was sprinting round Herrada, and he has done, to quickly get onto the tail of this group. A real show of defiance by this man. He does it at 6 kilometres to go to the top. Now we are hearing from the race that Nicholas Roach is in difficulty. He's in that group of 4 riders there, and he's going to see Valverde coming up to him very shortly. The lone figure there of Valverde. You get some idea of the steepness of this climb now as we continue up to the next sign here, which will be 3 kilometres from the finish. He's got a tremendous style here, and he's not looking like a man who is about to crack either. He is continuing to climb. He's no danger for the red jersey. He's an hour and a half behind on the overall classification. Valverde took a look at those men and assessed whether they've got anything left in those legs after this battle they've had today in the ice cold rain, and the answer is no. There's Roach. He's in the white jersey. Very short he's going to see Valverde. That's the first time we've seen Nicholas Roach in trouble in 2 weeks. Yeah, he may not be supporting the cold so well, but one thing he might have in his advantage here is to limit his losses. If he does get caught by Valverde, hopefully he might have recovered a little bit and try and use Valverde to gain some time back. Mikel Nieve and Mikel Landa with the 2 Euskaltel orange jersey riders there who've gone away, and this looks like a Leopold Koenig has now been dropped. He's having a great tour, being unhitched by this very select group here, which is still containing Vasil Kirienka. Little bit surprised about that. It can't be Kirienka, surely it is. One rider who'll take a lot of confidence from this stage today is a rider we've talked about over the last few days, is Thibaut Pinot, who's still in this group. So he's obviously improved his descending. Absolutely, because it can't get much worse descending than today, and he lost his nerve in the Tour de France, and the conditions here are far worse than when he was descending in the Tour. Vasil Kirienka here. A little bit surprised to see him, but the one man we're not seeing at all now is their top man, and that is Uran. He's not there. Or the Colombian rider Henao either. He's gone. Yeah, well, Henao came in as the team leader for Sky, but that really disappeared after the first couple of days, and Uran was their best rider. But again, I think this cold weather
and
well,
rain has had its effect.
Conditions have said a lot, but Samuel Sanchez is there in the orange jersey, so too is the red jersey of Nibali. Chris Horner is there on the far side in that King of the Mountains jersey. Kizilowski, his teammate, is pacing him. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see Chris Horner go for a late move here.
I was just going to say the same thing. The fact that he's got his teammate on the front there means to me that he's feeling good and may well attack.
A doer battle, and we're climbing up into the low mist again now. This is Kizilowski. This is not the next group on the road. Somewhere in between, and we've never seen him, is the world champion Philippe Gilbert. He sits number 2 on the road. But this is the race here to win the Vuelta Espana. And shoulder to shoulder, Chris Horner, Vincenzo Nibali, the top 2 riders now, because Nicholas Roche has been unhitched. He was in second place. Valverde, who was in third, also behind. You know, Chris Horner rather could be in second place tonight in the Tour of Spain. That would be incredible.
Yeah, struggling a little bit now, but that's no surprise after this long breakaway that he's had. He's just got to get himself to the line and dig in just for another few minutes.
Did have a small win a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, in Italy, called the Grand Prix Andustria. Kizilowski still pacing Chris Horner. Nibali doesn't trust him because this pacemaking is pulling them away. They're going to go shoulder to shoulder if they keep this up. Thibaut Pinot's trying to hang on at the back there. So too is Rodriguez. He's been caught watching a little bit. Now this is the training ground of Joaquim Rodriguez. He lives on the climb. He's a Spanish rider. He lives in Andorra, but this is a big push now by Kizilowski.
Well, he's doing a fantastic job, isn't he, in splitting this up? And is he launching Chris Horner into an attack here?
What else would he be doing it for? 2 kilometres to go for the leader on the road. Soon to be the winner of the stage, which is stage 14. For 2 weeks we've been riding round Spain. We're now in Andorra. A week tomorrow the race will finish in Madrid.
Well, Horner's taken it up. He's, may not get rid of Nibali today, but he's certainly putting some distance between the rest of his rivals.
Well, once again, it is eliminating 2 men from the podium here, just at this minute in time. Nick Roche and Valverde. Nibali is showing all of the signs of being a leader right through to Madrid here. Now, and I bet he never ever dreamt his biggest challenger will be the oldest man in the race, who's 42 years of age in October and doesn't even have anybody wanting to employ him next year.
Well, it really is getting tough for Rato now, but he hasn't got too far to go. You see he's grimacing. This is such a hard climb when you've been away for so long on such a tough, cold, wet day.
But the adrenaline, Graham, must be coursing through those veins now, because he knows with every pedal rev he is winning one of the most iconic days in this year's Vuelta Espana.
Gap 6:55 and Gilbert's just in front there, so these two are catching Gilbert.
The white jersey of the world champion just around that corner there is Philippe Gilbert. First time we've seen him all day. The cameras have never been near him, and now he comes back to the 2 leading jerseys of the King of the Mountains and the race itself. Surely Philippe, who's had a great day and won the highest climb of this race. Can Gilbert hang on? He looks over to Sinks. Where are the others? Well, right now this is 1 man up front versus the 2 principals of this year's Tour of Spain. A labouring figure now as this road really bites back, but the rain at least is stopping. This is Daniele Rato, the ride of his young life. At 23 years of age, he's led the stage today from start to finish in the worst possible conditions. 14% the gradient.
Well, he really does deserve this. He's won this stage the hard way, unless he blows up very badly. He's got such a big lead over all the favourites.
And tomorrow we go in the Pyrenees to finish in France at Périgueux in the longest stage of the race, and let's hope he can recover. But today he'll live his finest moment. Valverde sits 3rd overall. Herrada is 5th. They are behind these 2 riders. They might and should keep their positions overall, but these 2 are pulling away. This rider broke clear with 4 others. One by one, they've abandoned the race or just simply been spread across the mountains and disappeared. He was more or less forced to go alone from a long way out, some 50 kilometers from the finish. He had to ride on by himself. He had to cross 3 further climbs, including the finishing climb. And he's still holding on to a big lead over these two. Nibali will be very pleased with the way he's ridden this race, and only Horner has passed the test alongside him there.
I think he's just a little skip of the wheel there. I think he's just realised that he is going to do this.
Well, so he should too. There's nobody going to touch him. There are 2 kilometres to go. They've climbed steadily up to him. He's about 500 metres, so they're only going to finish about 1.5 kilometres after he crosses the line. So they really did close down very rapidly on this climb. Now surely there's a smile in there somewhere, even if the pain is still there too. Daniele Ratto, 23 years of age. He'll be 24 in about 3 weeks' time.
He's giving himself a nice advanced birthday present today.
This is Valverde trying to, and that looks like Gilbert up front. That's Gilbert just around the corner. Valverde has cut through the people behind him to try and save his race. He's had a fabulous last 10 kilometres. Now, this man is heading to a stage victory in his second Grand Tour. His first ever stage victory, and the reward is the points gained as winning the stage on top of the mountain at Gallina here will be enough to give him the blue jersey, as a blue spotted jersey, as leader in the King of the Mountains. So there is a justice. What a tremendous ride. We haven't seen an epic ride like this in a major tour for years.
Well, fantastic day. It's double. I mean, if he thought at the start of the day, once he was in that break, you know, maybe he had thoughts, if we go away I could possibly win the stage, but to add the King of the Mountains jersey on top of that is just another bonus.
300 metres to go, and for many hours today the live coverage was delayed because this was the only picture we could have shown you, with nobody in it, of course. Now we know where he is. He's just 200 metres from the finishing line. He looks up to the summit because it's up all the way to the line, but now he's afforded himself a little smile, the realisation that he's not just won today's 14th stage of the Vuelta a Espana here in Andorra, he's annihilated everybody from 0 kilometre to the finish, 156 kilometres up front, and the last 55 kilometres of it all by himself. What a day to get your first major Grand Tour win.
He's just having a look round the corner there, looking at the finishing line, I think, and just thinking he just can't wait to get there and give his victory salute.
And so as the Italian comes home here, he'll also have the honour of being the first Italian stage winner of the Vuelta a Espana this year. So he crosses the line, the clock starts now, but it's really, we're more interested when the clock starts on the next two to finish, because there's no way, with every respect to Ratto, that he can take the red jersey off Nibali's shoulders. This is the race for the red jersey for tomorrow, and if it stays like this, it will stay with Nibali. This man has recovered well, because he was falling out of the top three, but he's gone around Nicholas Roach, so he will probably still be third tonight, a little bit further away from the front two. And the car headlights are back on, and I have to say the weather is starting to get rather dire again.
Well, it's just what it's been all day, isn't it? In and out, heavy rain, showers, rain stops for a bit, the clouds have been coming in, but it's been an epic stage. I mean, we've finally got some pictures. We didn't think we were going to get some, but we've still seen some fantastic racing.
Hey, look at this. This is still, he's still picking riders off here. Thibaut Pinot just in front there, Valverde here, picking them off one by one, saving the day with a real show of determination. But the clock will start when these two hit the line. 19 seconds are saying here that Sanchez and Rodriguez is behind. Nibali is trying to, it's not Nibali, Valverde is trying to get on terms with Sanchez and Rodriguez.
Yeah, I think there's just another couple of riders. I think Pinot and Ponce Vivo were just behind the Sanchez group.
Well, we've lost contact with Nicholas Roach, sadly, and Valverde caught and passed him. So he is losing time, I'm afraid, today at 1 kilometre to go for Valverde. The others will be climbing up towards the finish right now. They're saying that it's a 39-second spread, Valverde, to these two riders. That's a big loss, but it's not lost him the Tour yet.
No, it's a lot worse than it was looking when he was dropped on the previous climb. So to get back here is, I mean, he's done a brilliant ride to get this close to those two. Interesting
to see in that shot, Graham, that Nibali is now working with Horner to the detriment of this man here. Look at that, the red jersey doing the pacemaking now. So two riders who are going to be first and second overall tonight in the Tour of Spain, even though ironically Horner will have lost that King of the Mountains jersey he's wearing. This is Pozzovivo being passed by Valverde and Thibaut Pinot. Well, this is a real great show of defiance by Mr. Consistent of the Tour of Spain, Alejandro Valverde.
Yeah, he's flying actually. He's picked up a lot of riders. It makes you wonder just what went wrong earlier in the stage.
May have been the cold, maybe he lost his nerve on that descent. It was deadly. Dan Martin was right when he tweeted those descents could affect the way of the Tour. We're coming up to 300 to go now. Is Nibali going to take on Chris Horner, because there are small time bonuses here for second and third across the line? They're only a few seconds, 6 and 4, but every second might count by the time we get to Madrid a week tomorrow. A week today, Graham, they'll be climbing the Anglerou, which is the big brute of the climb before the finish.
Yeah, and the last time I was on the Anglerou, the weather was very much like this, so let's hope the weather's better for that stage.
Well, riders have been seen to walk on that climb, and if the weather is wet, then wheel spin is a huge problem. Nibali just checking on Chris Horner. He's giving it his best. Chris is taking it wide to see if he can get a run off on the slope there. I'm not sure he can. He's going to have a go. The clock is counting. They really closed that gap down on Rato, 3:52, and he's got a couple of seconds on Horner in the end. But now the clock is counting at 3:52. This is Rodriguez. He's really pushed on here. He wanted so much to win because all these people know him. This is his training ground. I wouldn't like to come home every day after a training ride up here. He comes in at approximately 20 seconds behind. This is Sanchez, but he's not counting yet in the overall, but he'll move up tonight. And Valverde coming up now, and he's come around Pinot here, and he's 3:52 was when Nibali crossed the line. Valverde here is going to concede just on 50 seconds. Yes, 50 seconds he loses today, and he loses about 48 to Chris Horner. So Horner will now be up into second place overall.
Yes, courtesy of his third place on the stage, just behind Vincenzo Nibali, just shy of 4 minutes behind Daniele Rato, the stage winner. Joaquim Rodriguez had no legs to challenge Horner and Nibali. He was fourth at 4 minutes 11, with Samuel Sanchez close behind. Alejandro Valverde recovered brilliantly to come in just ahead of Pinot and Pozzovivo. Now, unforgivably, the Spanish host broadcaster missed the finish of the man who started the day second, but we didn't. Nicolas Roche came in 20th, 7 minutes 22 down, losing more than 3 minutes to Nibali, Horner and Valverde. Others lost more, including the Sky pair of Henao and Uran, but Roche, of course, was falling from a much higher starting position, although on a day when some top riders simply climbed off, he battled through.
Today was really about surviving. I'm one of those riders who enjoy the heat, and my biggest fear was this bad weather today, and I paid for it. I survived better than some other riders, obviously, but unfortunately, out of the couple of GC guys, I really paid the price for it. On the last descent there, I really caught a cold, and once we arrived at the bottom of this one, the legs were just like two pieces of wood, and I just didn't feel anything, unfortunately. No problem. Just gonna have to look for more opportunities tomorrow, and hopefully able to fight back and get a few seconds back.
Daniel Irato, meanwhile, can coast from here onwards. His Vuelta is made with a stage win and the Mountains jersey, even if he keeps it for only one day, which is highly likely. Taking Nicholas Roach's white combined jersey, as well as his second place overall, is Chris Horner, who is now perhaps the greatest threat to the red jersey of Vincenzo Nibali.
You climbed with Nibali, the final climb, in good company, and you're still right up there, Chris.
Yeah, Nibali climbed with me. Just kidding, don't quote me on that. Come on, guys, be nice. No, Nibali was fantastic. He was super strong. I tried everything I could to get rid of him. Robert Kieselowski did a fantastic job for me, setting up the pace on the bottom, and he made it so there was just Nibali and I left on his wheel, and from there the decision was simple for me to go 100%.
Tomorrow's stage?
Oh, I hope it's dry.
Now here's the effect of today's stage on the standings. Horner is second by 50 seconds and the only man within a minute of Nibali. Valverde is up to third, and he and Horner are the only men within 2 minutes. He's at a minute 42. Rodriguez is at 2:57. Roach down to sixth behind Domenico Pozzovivo at 4 minutes 6 seconds. Thibaut Pinot is up to seventh. Leopold Koenig eighth. Luke Rowe survived his first big day in the Pyrenees, although many didn't. 14 men abandoned out on the road, a good number because of hypothermia, including Ivan Basso, who started the day seventh.